Okay, well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We're so happy you're here. This is the first activity for the 2016 Dr. Martin Luther King Week of Observance, where we are observing the works of Dr. Martin Luther King. And we're so happy here at the College of Agriculture to actually be a part. And I'm very happy. This is my first event as Interim Associate Dean for Diversity. And I know that I'm in this position because of all of you. So I thank you for your support. So we look forward to having a great day. The program will go where we'll have a welcome, an occasion, introduction of the speaker, and then we'll have our speaker. And I'll let Dr. Blackman introduce our speaker, and then we'll have an announcement after that. So as everybody signed in, and you got your great pen, our sponsors are John Deere, and they're here today. And so we can thank them for the pen as well as after the speaker. I hope you all signed the slip of paper so we can have the drawing for the scholarship. And if you have not, then I'll have Adriana to raise her hand, and after she speaks, you can get one of the slips from her, and then we'll pull it out of the John Deere hat. That sound like a good plan? So again, thank you for being here, and Adriana, it's time for you.
Hey guys, thanks for being here. I'm Adriana Meneses. I'm the president of Manners. Manners is Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Genetic Sciences. And we're a professional development group. And in my experience here, I've been here, I'm a sophomore, and it's helped me a lot transition from high school to college and getting all that network connections in there. And so if you guys have any questions about Manners, you can come ask me. And there's a couple other Manners people in here, familiar faces. And if you guys have any questions, just come ask me. And that's it. Thanks for coming.
My name is Melissa Riley. I'm a sophomore and also a member of Manners. And so we're all here for the 12th annual College of Agriculture Diversity Student Leader Luncheon. And this is an awesome event here at K-State because it's one of the only universities that has this long week of events where we get to celebrate the legacy and learn about different cultural diversity issues and the importance of the legacy of Dr. King. So thank you all for being here and being a part of this, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hello, good evening, everyone. How are y'all? Good. So, hi, my name is Dr. Taronica Blackman, and I am currently one of the co-advisors for the Manners chapter here. And I am also a postdoc under assistance or guidance of Dr. John Gonzalez in the molecular biology department. And I am also pleased to introduce tonight, or have the opportunity to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Freddie Richards. As a native of Alabama, Dr. Richards received his BS in Agriculture Education from Alabama A&M, his Master's in Education in Agriculture Education from Tuskegee University, and his PhD in Agriculture Education from Pennsylvania State University. After graduating from PSU, Dr. Richards became the Assistant Director for the Southeast Center for Rural Development Research, and he also sat in a number of capacities at Kentucky State University before beginning his career at Prairie A&M University. Since starting his career, he has held positions of Dean, Professor, the position in which he currently sits, and Research Director for College of Agriculture and as Head of Department of Agriculture. Dr. Richards also laid the groundwork for establishing the Jesse H. Jones building that houses the Cooperative Agricultural Research Center and the Livestock and Poultry Labs on the University Farm, right currently at Prairie A&M University. He also worked diligently to establish the International Goat Research Center, which I'm sure he is very proud of, and secured an endowment scholarship for from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Many students have also been afforded the opportunity to travel abroad and live with farm and agribusiness families participating in the international projects that Dr. Richards directed at Prairie University. On another note, he is a fascinating individual, and we are grateful for his presence among us today. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Freddie Richards.
Thank you, Dr. Blackman. Okay. Good evening. First of all, I want to thank Kansas State for inviting me. Kansas State, in my mind, has always been a tremendous university offering a lot of programs. I have met your graduates all over the world, performing very well, and I've worked with them at Prairie View, where at one time we had 5 PhDs and 1 DVM, all from Kansas State. And they all graduated, between 1945 and 1988. And some of them are still working at Prairie View. You know, talking about manners, and you hear it, that was part of the dream. Manners. Back in the late 70s and early 80s, when African Americans began to go to Michigan State, Penn State, Kansas State as undergrads, we would meet the African American faculty at some events, some meetings. They would be there, and we would talk. And I met, when I was at Penn State, a person who was a USDA employee named Bill Henson. Mr. Henson was a product of Maryland Eastern Shore. And when I was at Penn State, I used to go over and visit with him and talk about Alabama A&M and Tuskegee, and he would talk about Maryland Eastern Shore. And once I left Penn State in '72, I stayed in touch with Dr. Henson. And I guess it was 83, 84, he called me and said, look, we want to develop an organization and we want you guys in the southern schools to join us. I said, okay, what do you want to do? So I was traveling the world. I was St. Lucia, Trinidad, Jamaica. I was doing international projects quite a bit. So he said, we need you to come to Penn State and meet with us. So I went to Penn State, I guess it was 84, 85, and we had this conference, and we began then to lay the foundation for what is now manners. And one of the reasons was that women and minorities were beginning to populate the majors in agriculture, and you needed somewhere to get jobs. Because USDA, yeah, you were there, but they didn't know you. John Deere didn't know you. The large agricultural firms, Archer Daniel Midland, didn't know you. So we met and formed Manners. And over the period, it is what it is today. But one side point, I went back to Prairie View, and they called me to be department head. And I said, gosh, I don't have time to do that. So I stepped up as department head, and then I became the one to ID and work with students to join Manners. Guess who was one of my students? Dr. Wiley. What is now Dr. Wiley. So we had one of the first meetings at Alabama A&M, and Dr. Wiley went to the meeting, and she came back, and she was just outdone. Dr. Richards, they had a curfew at that national meeting. Can you believe that? I said, Z, it's growing. It'll get there. And it was a lot of growing pains, but as I said, this is a dream of Dr. King, because he really put on the map that we have to treat all people so they can be professionals in the area. And I'm going to tell you, when I was an undergrad at Alabama A&M, there were no ladies in our classes. When I went to Tuskegee, there were no ladies in my classes. 62 through 66, and 67 through 69 part-time, and then in 70 through 72 at Penn State, no ladies. When I went to Prairie View as dean in 76, I said, what are these girls doing here? Dr. Richards, my daddy worked in agriculture, and he told me to come and major in agriculture. And it was on. And now, guess what? Just like the class I spoke to today, mostly female. And with the projections that are made for the future, for employment and needs of personnel projected in agriculture, food safety, extension, research, academics, we need you to get that terminal degree and come and help us. Because what's happening to us guys? F-150s, Ram trucks, and that owns us for a while. You young ladies, you can see it. I'm glad to have you, because if we didn't have you, I don't know what we would be doing. But anyway, here are some of the pointers that they talk about in terms of some of the skills that we hope you would have, or we want you to have. Accountability, want you to be able to handle change, and one of the most important and proven ways to recreate our professional selves is mentoring and coaching. And as I said this morning, don't let your advisor get away with just signing your card and turning back around to their desk and going back to work. As I said this morning, ask for a copy of their theses, their resumes, master's, PhD, and look at what they were doing when they were 21, 22 years old. And you will find out, guess what? You are way ahead of us at that age. So you can do it. Listen, you can do it. And you are participating in the dream. And we need you again. Communicate. It used to be that when you show up, you're communicating. Voice, communication is needed. Conflict resolution, being able to think critically and work through obstacles. And you don't have to fight. You don't have to roll your eyes funny. You know. You don't have to do that. Communicate. Empowerment. Motivation. And of all things, professionalism. A lot of times, you have to practice that. Professionalism is where you stick with the subject and you are able to communicate to get what you need done. And another one is, in professionalism, I tell my students, you know, they want to walk around and speak through their dress, and their dress is, oh boy. But hey, it's revolution. I remember when a rebellion, I remember when the way you danced was a rebellion. Ran a dashiki, ran a fro, and I had some in my day. But I never could get it to stand up. So I'd leave it alone because it just flopped and laid down. But anyway, all of that, young people, listen, have to rebel. I don't know what is stopping it, but there's something about it. You got to get it out of your system. Go on and rebel when you can, all right? But remember being professional. And then build relationships. Tremendous relationships that will follow you with your fellow students, because, excuse me, I went back to my 50th anniversary of joining my frat. And do you know, I'm the only one on my line for some time to get a PhD. And you know, those guys still think of me as when I worked at the poultry yard at Alabama A&M. And they said the only way Freddie got a lot of girlfriends, he used to bring eggs out of the poultry yard. And they say, you still working with eggs? I know you got a PhD. Are you still doing the egg business? I said, no, I'm not doing that. But people will remember you as you are now. So leave some professionalism in there so they can remember you for that. Because they're going to remember and you may not like it. Another one is teamwork. You're in a class, practice teamwork. Ask someone, say, hey, we're working on this same assignment. Let's teamwork. Don't say, I'm going to copy off of you. Teamwork. So let's teamwork, and then let's go see the professor together. That's impressive. And when you go out to be interviewed for companies, they're going to ask you, what have you done on a team? Or what are they doing at Kansas State? Don't say, well, they promised me this and they didn't give me nothing, so I'm not here trying to get a job now so I can recover. Don't. Just say, I had a great experience at Kansas State. It was tremendous. I remember Dr. Blank who made the ice cream. I used to go once a week and get an ice cream cone, and this week I would get this, next week I would get that. That's impressive. Leave the negative stuff alone. Enough is going to happen. If you have to have some negative communication, go in the shower. Don't turn the shower on. Close the doors, turn off the lights, holler, and whatever. In that dark space, and it will eventually seem silly, all right? Get it out of your system, and then come back the next day smiling with your hair high up. Smiling. A smiling face will get more than a bitter face. Now, I'm going to tell you, Freddie Richards, born in 1944, I'm really not that old. That's what my mother told me. But anyway, as an ag teacher in Wetumpka, Alabama, when Reverend King was killed, was shot. That was one of the saddest days of my life. And I had wanted to go from Alabama A&M to the march on in Selma. And of course then I called my daddy at Mr. Tobe's store. And I called person to person. He said, I'll go get him, Freddie Lewis. Call back in 15 minutes. So Mr. Tobe went up 2 miles to get Daddy, bring him back to the store. And Daddy said, what you want? I said, Daddy, can I go to Selma from Huntsville, Alabama? He said, boy, I've told you, those people are trained to take an A-whooping. You will be down there trying to fight back, and they will bust your head open, sure enough. So I didn't go. All right? But when the funeral was in in Atlanta, I had a little red Skylark, so myself and 3 other teachers of high school, we were going to go to the funeral in Atlanta. And that night, well, I got ready to go, and that morning, I went down to the post office, an ag teacher, with my black suit on, and checked. That's what ag teachers do. They go to the post office every day for some reason. Anyway, I go to the post office, and I had my suit on, and all the people passed me. He said, boy, that Mr. Richards is crazy. He's doing that in Wetumpka. He's marching around Wetumpka celebrating Dr. King. So, no, I was going to go to Atlanta. Got back home, my little apartment. The coach called me, Coach Cotton, said, Freddie, we better not go to Atlanta today. Governor Wallace has sent state troopers over on the Georgia line, and every teacher that crossed that line, they're going to fire. So I said, we can go up and go through gas. He said, no, Freddie Richards, you got to pay for that car. Your folks in Abbeville can't pay for that car. Just come on down to Montgomery and let's go to the church and sit and talk. So that's what I did. But Cleveland, all these areas burned. And they're not built back yet. They are brown deserts, no grocery stores. Euclid Beach in Cleveland used to be one of the nicest areas you could go to. I went there in '65. And when it burned, they didn't put it back. Rodney King caused another burning. We who are educated need to reach out and help the ones that may respond negatively, causing permanent damage. I had a song that I was going to play for you all. It's by Nina Simone. And it talks about how conditions go from one generation to another. And in that song, it's implied that it's taught in the home. And what a parent teaches a child, you can never unlearn it. You may go around it, but it stays in your head, stays right here. And that's one of the problems we have in the USA today. I'm going to tell you, I've been all over the world more than one time. We have more going for us than any of those other countries. Things that they have policies to do, we do it naturally. Naturally. And as I told the class this morning, if you Google a village of 100 for the earth, the 8 rich people with all the wealth in that village of 100, they're in the USA. And of the one person that would have a BS degree out of that 100 is in the USA, and of the one person that would have a computer is in the USA. So we are a force, and it takes more manners organization. We need engineering to create a manners. We need business to create a manners. Look at this room, tremendous room. I applaud you for coming together and being here. And most of all, I applaud you for the week you are having. And if I have to say, my favorite sermon of Dr. King is Drum Major Instinct. I ask you to pick one of his sermons and listen to him. You'll never find a preacher that can talk like that. You'll never find content in sermons like that. And in this world, not just the U.S., we have a way of pushing aside the people who can be our future leaders. We have a way of pushing it aside and canceling it out, and then we bring up their image, and then we study their image. But as I said, my favorite sermon is Drum Major Instinct, because Drum Major Instinct follows all of these points that I gave you of helping. I applaud you for what you're doing. Pleased to be here. I wish you all much success, and I pray that you all are blessed in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Richards. I must say, I'm very happy that Dr. Richards was able to come, because Dr. Richards is my advisor when I was a freshman at Prairie University. I'm such a proud graduate of Prairie University because we're the producer of productive people. And I've always tried to make sure, just like your advisor can sometimes be your parent as well as your mentor. And one thing that Dr. Richards has always told me, now that I am doing this work, is that all your students are not going to listen to you. And he said, but I was one of the students that did listen to him. And I'm just so honored that he could be here and excited that all of you could hear him. So now you know where I got some of the students back there were saying, ooh, I see a little you. And it's mainly because he always showed all of us that he cared. Every trip, when I took a trip overseas, he would always tell me about it, and that's how I got to go, the different places that I went. So just like Dr. Richards said, make sure that you reach out and speak to your mentors or your advisors, because your network is what's going to continue to make you flourish in your careers. So thank you again, Dr. Richards. And I hope I always make you proud. That's one of my goals. So now, if we could have our officers, I see Melissa, if you could come up, Adriana, think I see one of you're hiding from me. You can come up here because we like to present you, Dr. Richards, with a token of appreciation. Meet you. So, Dr. Richards, if you could join us, hey, Your Honor, we want to show you our appreciation from the K-State Minorities in Agriculture chapter,
Thank
as
you.
well as the college's Diversity Programs Office, and I think Phil, who's our new interim associate provost. And then Dr. Richards is such a history buff. So for Black History Month, we have one of our Black History mugs that has the founder of the Black History. So we have this for Dr. Richards, and we have to give him a coaster to put it on at Prairie University. So Dr. Richards, we thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And he already has on his lapel pin that all
Yeah.
of you should have received. And we'd like to thank John Deere, who's here, and they'll have remarks very shortly, and really sponsoring this event. So Dr. Richards, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay.
He plays golf. So we got him a great K-State. And Prairie colors are purple.
Yes.
So we put on it.
And it's a cat. They're going to wonder where I got this from.
Did you get a good picture of it? Okay, put it back up so we can get a good picture. Let me hide the price.
Okay. All right.
Okay, come on, Adriana, get in the picture.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephen. I know you got us together.
Okay.
Okay, now he wants, hold it up.
Perfect. Okay. Take two, one more. Perfect.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. You know, there's one thing that working at the HBCUs, it's very good to see your structure that you have at your university. It's ready to respond to whatever condition exists. And as I said to the Dean of Ag this morning, this is a global university. A global university. Okay, thank you.
So now, if we can have our John Deere sponsors to come up and bring us greetings, or as we end our event. And so today we have Tyrone Smith and Alicia Samuels, and they're part of the Olathe, right? So if they could join me, welcome you.
Thank you, Dr. Wally. Good evening. I'm bringing you greetings on behalf of John Deere. I am Tyrone Smith. I'm an internal controls project manager. And also to be able to be here, and thank you for the invite on behalf of the diversity office at Kansas State University, as well as the College of Agriculture. You all had a great speaker today, Dr. Richards, and bringing you guys very true commemorating speeches to bring to you all as a younger generation going into the field of agriculture. Just on behalf of me personally, I've been with John Deere 7 years, and great to be a part of your event, Dr. Wally, and as well as a member of the Minorities in Agriculture and Natural Resources, and my colleague.
Good evening. My name is Alicia Samuels, and I also work for John Deere and am a global pricing publications manager. I've been with the company for 16 years, and previously, when I wasn't in marketing, I worked in recruiting, and that was kind of how I got integrated with the Manners organization. So I'm very, very happy to be back and working to help partner that relationship with John Deere and Manners, and appreciate the invitation to attend this event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can't leave me. Oh.
Yeah.
So every year we have a book scholarship. And so along with the funding that John Deere has presented, they're sponsoring our book scholarship, as well as everyone got a lapel pen. And please wear your pen every day this week, okay? And do like Dr. Richards said, look at that speech that's going to really touch you. And if you don't want the pen, you can leave it, okay? But it's really just such a great pen. But in the back we have, did everybody put their name? Did everybody get their name in there to get an opportunity to get your name drawn for the scholarship? Okay, well, Adriana, come on up here. And there's a John Deere hat back there. I don't know if it'll fit. And then if you wouldn't mind pulling the name for us, please. Is it gonna work? If it doesn't work, then just shake it up and go back. Thank you. Adriana is our great president. We're very proud of her. And she is running for a regional officer this year. So join me in encouraging her. Okay, you have to be present to win.
Want me to say it? Brian Davis.
He is always winning, y'all. He is so, this is my, and his father went to Prairie University. So this is so awesome.
I've been trying to get my master's there, so.
Well, that's a good thing. So we have a check for him. It's right back there. And then we'd like to get a picture as well.
Okay.
So you'd like to get the one? Okay, we'll get
Thank
one.
you. I just bought like $500 worth of books.
Okay, scoot over just a little bit.
Okay, I'm gonna get in the middle.
There you go, right there. You guys good there. Okay, I'm gonna take a couple. And one more. Let me check it real fast. And let me do one more actually. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. We appreciate it. So, before we end, we'd like to have announcements, and Shakira Everett, who is our vice president of our K-State Manners chapter. Says she models down. But I would just like to say, your first, when you get your first degree, it's always gonna be part of your heart. Like all of you love K-State. I love purple, but like my school, and to have, like I said, my advisor here, it'll always be something special for you. And that's why it won't hurt you to give back, it won't hurt you to do anything, because it'll always be that family atmosphere for you. So again, I'm just so happy that he's here. Shakira.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Can we please give Dr. Richards another round of applause? Hi, I'm Shakira Everett, Vice President of Manners. I'm a first-year senior in Agricultural Communications with a minor in Animal Science, and I am here to announce this week's announcement. Speak up a little bit. Yes, ma'am. So for Tuesday, January 26th, there is the K-State Student Leader Diversity Conversation at 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then there's the Commerce Bank Presidential Awards for Diversity at 3:30 to 5 p.m. And Wednesday, January 27th, there is the 17th Annual College of Business Diversity Lecture at 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. And then the second annual Civil Rights Teach-In at 12 noon to 2 p.m. Wednesday, January 27th, is the annual MLK program and Candlelight Vigil, and then the hot chocolate reception at Forum Hall in the lobby. And come Thursday, January 28th, we are having the MLK Week of Fellowship lunch-in at 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and it is a fee of $10 per person. And then after that, we are having the Hard Truths Revisited in the work of 2 African American artists at 5:30 p.m. And then Friday, January 29th, we are having the Black Faculty and Staff Alliance and Alonza Social Justice Brown Bag Luncheon at 12:30 noon to 1:45 p.m. And then after that, our final thing of the week is laying of the wreaths ceremony and bell chimes.
Bell chimes.
Thank you. Bell chimes at 2:00 p.m. And these are posted up around campus, so if you do not catch everything, or if you are curious about the locations and times again, they are around campus, so be sure to check them out, and we hope to see you out this week. Thank you for coming.
Very good. So this year, year, we are going to, the K-State Manners chapter will be able to lay a wreath. As last year was the College of Agriculture, and John Deere helped sponsor that for us as well. So for the whole week for the College of Agriculture Manners chapter, John Deere has been part of our support, sponsoring our different events. So we just like to thank you for that. If there aren't any questions, we do have refreshments. We are going to have a hot chocolate social, and that'll be all of our College of Agriculture, the Student Council, and that'll be throughout the building just to learn about everything that's going to take place within the College of Agriculture from the spring, from our student organizations perspective. And then we're going to have the career employment. Our particular representative, Mary Ann Barkley, if you have any questions about resumes, different companies are coming, because you know the College of Agriculture's career fair will be on this Wednesday from 11 to 4. So our goal is to get you ready. So Dr. Richards has got you motivated, you mentally stimulated, I mean you have it going, and now we want to get your resumes together so you can get a job, because our goal is to recruit, retain, and graduate you. Now, John Deere did bring a few items, but you can't take my football or my hat. But they have some other items back there. And please talk to the two of them if you have any interest in John Deere, because they are investing in us, and they're investing in you. So if you look at any opportunities, and you heard the areas where they are in marketing, as well as it was marketing. Okay, thank you. So we have the College of Engineering, Agriculture, Business, Arts and Sciences. I see everybody pretty much in here. So I know you can be touched by the corporation. And I'd like to thank our Vice President for Human Capital Services, Cheryl Johnson, for being here. Thank you for coming. We have our Interim Associate Dean, Dr. Kamaki Showman. He's here. And Dr. Don Boggs, who always supports our group. He's here, our Associate Dean for Academic Programs. He's here as well. Anybody else? I see Stephen Brown, our Assistant to the Dean. He's here as well. If you're interested in Peace Corps, he's always ready to talk to you because he went to the Peace Corps. Anybody else? Did I leave anyone else? If I did, it's for the mind and not the heart. I never mean to hurt anyone. And so, and again, we do have the refreshments out there, and then we will have a picture. So our photographer's here, and so before I say you're dismissed, we definitely like to have our manners officers, and as many of you as possible. I like to archive everything. Those of you who are in MAPS, you know me, so you know I like to get a picture. And so we like to get a picture with Dr. Richards, and if everybody could come here, and then Tommy, is that what's going? And if he wants everybody here, he's going to stand on the table and get our picture. So thank you everybody for being here, and we hope you have enjoyed it. And please don't forget your lapel pin and show your MLK spirit, because the dream never ends, and it never ends because of you. Thank you.